Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Reflection is a huge part of each learning process, and that is what we're going to do today. I have a bunch of my sewing projects here, some new ones, some very old ones, and all of these have something wrong with them. Whether it is something I did wrong because I just didn't know how to do it yet, or because I was working on a deadline and just finished things a little bit sloppily, or because I made some artistic choices that I regret now. In any case, all of these have something that needs a little bit of improvement. I'm gonna revisit some of my old sewing projects and make them better. The first thing that I want to do today is this jumpsuit right here. This is one of my first sewing projects. I made this last summer, and you can probably already tell I knew what interfacing was, but I was unfamiliar with the word facing. So obviously, this garment needs some facing, proper facing. So I'm gonna unpick this seam, this hem that I did around the neckline, and I'm gonna go ahead and insert a proper facing. I still have the fabric that I used for this. I have a little bit left, so I can cut out those facings. I also found the pattern that I used. I noticed that, yeah, right here, one of the pleats is coming out of the waistband, so I need to finish that as well. I'll see whether I want to unpick the whole waistband or just kind of hand stitch this down. But that needs a little bit of attention. Let's start with that. Time to take a little break from sewing. Now, a couple of weeks back, months now, has it been? I worked with June's Journey for a video, and guys, I am so happy to be working with them again today because since then I have played every single day. I have become obsessed with that game. It is insane. I am at level 80 now. I feel like I have finished like 3 or 4 different storylines by now, and my island is amazing, if I dare say so myself. Basically, if you're unfamiliar with the game, June's Journey is a hidden object game. So you play these different scenes where you have to find a different object. You get points for those. Throughout those scenes, you walk through a mystery storyline, which is really fun. But you also get an island that you can decorate, and you earn points through playing the hidden object scenes. And I took this pretty seriously, and I have decorated my island. I've made all these areas. I have this like estate area, and then I have this garden, and I have a kind of like farming section, and every time I unlock a new section of islands, I like move everything around and add more plants and everything, and I absolutely love it. Every morning when I log on, I send bushes to my online friends, Paul and Rena. I have no idea who these people are. It's strange how I kind of feel a bond with Paul and Rena just from sending them bushes and getting bushes from them every morning. I absolutely love playing this game for a little bit of relaxation at the end of a work day. The whole game is set in the 1920s and it features a lot of lovely vintage fashion. The game is free to download, by the way, so I definitely recommend checking that out. I personally really enjoy it, having lots of fun still playing. If you want to play along, again, links in the description box, it's free to download. And yeah, let's continue sewing. Alrighty, here it is, the new and improved version, now fully faced. I did decide, since the interfacing is on the garment side and not on the facing side, I decided to tack down the facing on top of doing the stay stitching. No, not stay stitching, the understitching. That's what I'm trying to say. So it is very thoroughly faced now, which is definitely going to be much better. And I managed to attach this little pleat that was loose pretty much invisibly. Let me show you up close. There we go. I just used tiny little stitches along here just from the outside and you can barely tell. I think if I wear this, you're not going to be able to tell at all. That should make this garment a lot more durable and wearable again, so I'm very happy with that. Can't wait to put this on. I just need to wait for some nicer weather. So let's move on to the next one. And next I want to revisit this dress, my dirndl, which is one of my more recent projects. There are just a couple of things. First of all, I didn't remove the gathering stitches that are coming out of the waistband. This happens when you do gathering stitches and then you sew along them and don't pay attention to having them all inside the seam allowance. So I would just like to go in with my seam ripper and rip those out so that they are no longer visible. And while we're at the topic of this waistband, it currently looks like this. It is raw and made of linen, so that won't do. I need to finish this somehow, and I'm thinking bias binding will be the best way to do that, because it's, again, a gathered edge attached to a non-gathered edge, and it needs to be really secure. So I think I'm gonna just go over that with some bias tape so that it is nicely encased, and that should help a lot with making this a more durable garment. Okay, this one is now a little bit better as well. We have a clean waist. Let me just come up close again, show you a little bit better. We have a clean waist, no more accidental smocking, no more wayward gathering stitches. You can still kind of tell where they were, but I think with a little bit of wear and maybe a wash, that'll disappear. And then the waistband on the inside is now beautifully finished with a bias binding. I really think for gathered waistbands like this is the way to go. It's just the easiest, it's the sturdiest, and the most fray proof. So I was a little bit lazy with my binding in this case, and I just top stitched over it. There you can see I just top stitched. But then again, I think with a gathered waistband, it would have just been way too fussy to do it the proper way and hide the stitching inside. But I think, you know, on the inside of a garment, this is well good enough. And I'm very happy with this, and it's already heaps better than it was before. So yeah, a nicely finished, secure, safe waistband for this one as well. The next dress I want to tackle is this one. This is again one of my earlier projects. Initially when I made it, I really wanted to add wooden buttons, but I didn't have wooden buttons at the time, so I used different buttons. And then when I finally got wooden buttons, I replaced those original buttons with these wooden ones. Guess what? I haven't worn the dress once since I put on the wooden buttons. Turns out I really preferred those other buttons. These ones. Little brown, pretty unique buttons. I just think these went much better with the style of the dress. Just looks a lot better, more in keeping with the dress. I think the coconut buttons, they make the dress look a little bit cheaper, I think. It just doesn't look as good. This dress is rustic enough of its own, and I think these buttons just go better with it. It's time to get rid of the coconut buttons and put these back on, and hopefully then I'll want to wear the dress again, because it's a shame that I no longer wear this, because it is one of my favorite dresses. I absolutely adore this. So yeah, we need to fix it, put these buttons back in. But that should be a fairly quick job, I think. Oh, and also when I made this, I didn't do buttonholes. I didn't have my sewing machine or my modern sewing machine yet, and I had to do all my buttonholes by hand, so I decided not to do them and do a side zipper instead. And I always thought that, you know, once I got a machine that can do buttonholes, I would just make buttonholes. But now I don't really see the point in making buttonholes. I think it looks cleaner this way when there isn't a buttonhole visible, and it has the side zipper, you know, for putting it on and taking it off. So I think I'm just gonna go with faux buttons again. Let's restore this to its former glory. Ta-da! I just prefer this. I prefer it so much. I think it gives the dress a very different vibe, and this is by all means a very casual dress made out of inexpensive fabric, and I think it kind of shows. But like this, it just looks much more acceptable and wearable. At least to me it does. I will very happily wear it again now that it has these buttons. So yay! A little bit of redemption for what used to be one of my favorite dresses and then fell out of favor. Now, looking at that pile of clothing that I gathered with things that need fixing, I realized this is way too much for one video and definitely way too much for one day of filming. So I think I'm gonna make this a mini series or maybe a longer series, and I'm gonna do this more regularly, just revisiting old projects, maybe even doing more extensive alterations. Like I know for some of the garments, the fit just isn't right. Like this dress, this one, you may remember my IKEA dress. The pattern just wasn't right for my body, and this I think could be much better if I made the whole thing a bit narrower, but that will require actually taking it apart and re-sewing it in places. So I would like to do that at some point, but I will need to take out a little bit more time for that. Yeah, I think I'm going to revisit this theme of fixing things that I may have done wrong initially. I think this is very valuable to do. You know, like I mentioned, you can learn a lot from fixing your own past mistakes, but it also helps you look at your past work in a little bit more of a kind and friendly way, I think. Because I still love everything I've ever made dearly. I just now have a little bit more skill and knowledge and know how to make those things a little bit better. Implementing those improvements will make me use and love those garments even longer and allow me to enjoy the initial joy that I felt from making them that much longer as well. This is definitely something I would encourage doing. Something that you have made doesn't necessarily ever have to be done. That is how I feel about lots of things that I have made. If at any point I feel like I can improve the thing, I will just go ahead and change the thing. That is the beauty of making something yourself. You have complete ownership over it and you can always go back and change things if you feel like you could do them a little bit better now. Yeah, we definitely will be doing more of this. Let me know if you enjoy it. But I think for this video, 3 dresses is enough, so I will definitely bring in more for the next one. So if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for lots more sewing, fashion, beauty and lifestyle videos. I want to give another massive thank you to June's Journey for sponsoring this video. Definitely check out the link in the description box. I highly recommend this game. I literally play every single day. There's another video here that I think you might also enjoy. You can go watch next. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!